All right. How you doing? I'm Jeffrey Keith with Aimless News, and this is the Aimless News Report for Tuesday, March 1st, 2022. Call me crazy, but if Trump ordered the U.S. military to protect a country that had paid his family millions in illegal cash, I bet the media would be covering the story much differently. And Aimless News exclusive, we got a photo of the NATO troops heading to Ukraine. How do you think they'll do? Dear America, you are waking up, as Germany once did, to the awareness that 1/3 of your people would kill another 1/3 while 1/3 watches. People are funny. Angela Belcamino tweets out, draft the unvaccinated. Neville the cat replies, you idiots literally just kicked them out of the military. The stupidity knows no bounds with these people. And finally, the world is about to understand the meaning of weak men create hard times. Yeah, we're right in the middle of that one. All right, let's get into this. What Finger News, the best news aggregate site on the web. Stay informed. Do your research. Head over to whatfinger.com for all the news you could possibly need. All right. Have you heard of Metabiota? Me either. Blue Canaries. This is from October 17th, 2021. Metabiota produces bioagents under diplomatic cover at a secret labs, then sells pandemic insurance and trackers to help countries get ahead of what they are putting out. The company is part of Pentagon's DRTA program. We'll get into that in a minute. As well as funded by Rosemont Seneca, Hunter Biden. Metabiota partners with industry and governments worldwide to build resilience to epidemics and protect global health. Now, I'm going to go over the basics here. You can research all this, look through all these yourselves. I encourage you to always do your own research. History. Metabiota Inc. was tapped by the Sierra Leonean government and the World Health Organization to help monitor the spread of the virus and support the response after Ebola was discovered circulating in neighboring Guinea in March 2014. Metabiota was contracted by the Pentagon to perform work for DTRA before and during the Ebola crisis in West Africa and was awarded $3 million for work in Sierra Leone, one of the countries at the epicenter of the Ebola outbreak. Ebola was in 2014-15. Biowarfare scientists used diplomatic cover Biowarfare scientists using diplomatic cover test man-made viruses at Pentagon biolabs in 25 countries across the world. These U.S. biolaboratories are funded by the Defense Threat Reduction Agency, DTRA, under a $2.1 billion military program. We'll be into this one in a minute. Metabiota sponsored a viral surveillance for the PREDICT program. 2017 study was supported by USAID through the Emerging Pandemic Threats PREDICT project. Co-authors include Nathan Wolf at Metabiota and Peter Daszak at EcoHealth Alliance. Our guy Peter Daszak, who's been involved in this from the get-go. The USA is gaining total control over biological research facilities, researchers, and stocks of deadly viruses in Ukraine. By a lucky chance, Metabiota, a subcontractor, is sharing the building with Black and Viach in Kiev. Just gets deeper and deeper. Peter Daszak, Ukraine. This will allow the USA to control epidemiological situation in the region, get access to every development in the sphere, and manipulate population size while increasing American pharmaceutical corporations' profit. Well worth your time to go through all this. Also a reminder of who is in charge of Ukraine for the Obama administration. Flashback to 2016 Ukraine. It says about the laboratories built in Ukraine in 2014 through 2017, it seems that only Americans work there and the Pentagon finances them. They counted 11 secret laboratories in Ukraine through which dangerous diseases spread. The official document indicates that U.S. military doctors are studying the use of pathogens of especially dangerous infections in different regions of Ukraine. This is confirmed by outbreaks of dangerous infectious diseases. This all occurred during the Obama administration, and Vice President Potato Head was the point person for Ukraine and China. Here's the title of an article for reference in case it does not go through again. Joe Biden visited Ukraine 6 times in 8 years while vice president. Rosemont Seneca, an investment firm led by Hunter Biden, was a lead financial backer of Metabiota, a pandemic tracking and response firm that has partnered with Peter Daszak's EcoHealth Alliance and the Wuhan Institute of Virology. So all these are linked to these articles. So this just goes on and on. A lot of good research done here. They were literally investing in a biolab company which houses and tracks deadly pathogens, then creates tracking of global virus outlets and marketing a pandemic insurance to go along with it. Here's to Metabiota and their ingenious evil scheme. Nathan Wolf, the guy from the bat study and numerous other studies, and oh yeah, another familiar face appears. Ghislaine Maxwell. I'm sure they just had dinner together. The corruption never ends with these people. One gigantic web. And here's that article I was referencing. U.S. ran gruesome bioweapon research in over 25 countries. Wuhan is just the tip of an iceberg. Yeah. In the context of the Russian military operations in Ukraine, the U.S. Embassy removed all their Ukraine bioweapon lab documents from their website. Sort of. The good news is they're still archived. And there they all are, even though they tried to wipe them clean. The U.S. Army regularly produces deadly viruses, bacteria, and toxins in direct violation of the UN Convention on the Prohibition of Biological Weapons. Hundreds of thousands of unwitting people are systematically exposed to dangerous pathogens and other incurable diseases. Biowarfare scientists using diplomatic cover test man-made viruses at Pentagon biolaboratories in 25 countries across the world. These biolaboratories are funded by the Defense Threat Reduction Agency under a $2 billion military program. They're located in former Soviet Union countries such as Georgia and Ukraine, the Middle East, Southeast Asia, and Africa. All of the Pentagon biolaboratories. Why would they need this many biolaboratories all over the world? What is going on? Anyway, this is a very long thread that is well worth your time to check out. The United States has a lot of questions to answer for. This guy, Mike Whitney, says the crisis in Ukraine is not about Ukraine, it's about Germany. The primordial interest of the United States over which for centuries have fought wars, the First, the Second, and the Cold Wars, has been the relationship between Germany and Russia. Because united there, they're the only force that could threaten us. And to make sure that doesn't happen, George Freeman at the Chicago Council on Foreign Affairs, the Ukrainian crisis has nothing to do with Ukraine. It's about Germany, and in particular a pipeline that connects Germany to Russia called Nord Stream 2. Washington sees the pipeline as a threat to its primacy in Europe and has tried to sabotage the project at every turn. Even so, Nord Stream has pushed ahead and is now fully operational and ready to go. Once German regulators provide the final certification, the gas deliveries will begin. German homeowners and businesses will have a reliable source of clean and inexpensive energy, while Russia will see a significant boost to their gas revenues. It's a win-win situation for both parties. The U.S. foreign policy establishment is not happy about these developments. They don't want Germany to become more dependent on Russian oil gas because commerce builds trust, and trust leads to expansion of trade. As relationships grow warmer, more trade barriers are lifted, regulations are eased, travel and tourism increase, and a new security architecture evolves. In a world where Germany and Russia are friends and trading partners, there is no need for U.S. military bases, no need for expensive U.S.-made weapons and missile systems, and no need for NATO. There's also no need to transact energy deals in U.S. dollars or to stockpile U.S. treasuries to balance accounts. Transactions between business partners can be conducted in their own currencies, which is bound to precipitate a sharp decline in the value of the dollar and a dramatic shift in economic power. This is why the Potato Head administration opposes Nord Stream. It's not just a pipeline, it's a window into the future, a future in which Europe and Asia are drawn closer together into a massive free trade zone that increases their mutual power and prosperity while leaving the U.S. on the outside looking in. Seems to make sense. Yeah. As one might expect, the final blow was delivered by the American president himself. During the press conference, Biden stated emphatically that if Russia invades, there will no longer be a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it. So now Washington sets policy for Germany. The German chancellor was taken aback by Biden's comments, which were clearly not part of the original script. Yeah. Very interesting take on what's going on over there. Who knows what's really going on? Nobody. As World War III escalates, get ready for a terrifying breakdown of our food and energy systems. Yeah, Russia and Ukraine supply a lot of our food, and Russia supplies a lot of our oil, and Russia supplies most of the fertilizer. So this isn't bad, it's really bad. It's going to get ugly, people. I hope you're getting ready, because this year is going to be a tester, unlike any other. In historic breach with neutrality, Switzerland joins the EU in sanctions on Russia. You know, Davos, Switzerland, it's where the cabal lives. That's why Switzerland's always been neutral. It's very weird how one country can just say, well, we're neutral. Well, how come all the other countries can't just say, yeah, we're neutral. We're not going to get involved in that. No, they're forced to be involved. Switzerland has always been neutral because that's where they live. That's where the cabal lives. That's where these banksters live. They don't want no bullshit going on in their country. However, moments ago, Reuters reported that the Swiss government had joined the EU in adopting sanctions on Russia, freezing assets of targeted companies and people effective immediately. So it's very interesting that Switzerland is now involved. I mean, it's out in the open. They're involved in everything behind the scenes. Biden warns Putin to not use cyber attacks against the United States. So, guess what that means? Watch out for cyber attacks and food shortages and runs on the banks and everything else because they're telling you about it. Yeah, this will affect everything, especially your banking and supply chains. All right, this is what makes me worried. Bush supports Ukraine. Kerry, Biden, George Soros, Piss Pants Pelosi, Hillary, Obama, Romney, Abramovich. Look up this woman if you want to find out some sick shit. These people all are supporting Ukraine. That makes me wonder what the hell really is all about. And also, the World Economic Forum puts out a tweet. We deeply condemn the aggression by Russia against Ukraine. So you got the World Economic Forum and all these people with Ukraine. That makes me wonder what the fuck. Ukrainian MP, we are fighting for the new world order. Flat out says it. We're fighting for the new world order. That would indicate they're with the World Economic Forum.
For the rest of us that aren't Ukrainians, I think the world, quite frankly, Kira, is surprised by the will of the Ukrainian people to stand up and fight. Are you?
Well, I'm not surprised. We have been fighting Putin for the last 8 years, and we had 3 revolutions in our country when we did not agree with what was going on with the direction of where we're moving in. But right now, it's a critical time because we know that we not only fight for Ukraine, we fight for this new world order for the democratic countries.
We fight for the new world order for the democratic countries. Ah, yes. Isn't that interesting? All right, let's talk about your money. If you have an existing IRA or 401k, or if you have all your money in the bank, you might want to seriously consider switching over to an IRA backed by gold and silver with Goldco. People are transferring over in record numbers right now with everything that's going on. Chuck Norris has partnered with Goldco to highlight the benefits of backing your hard-earned money with gold and silver, which has real, sustainable value. Unlike the fiat dollar or petrodollar, which, according to this guy, looks like maybe Russia and Germany are working against using it anymore. Who knows? Nobody knows what's going to happen right now. This is just craziness. Anyway, it wouldn't be a bad idea for you to come on over here, get your free report, talk to the people at Goldco about how to back your hard-earned money with gold and silver. Because who knows what's going to happen with all these currencies. And that way, Chuck Norris does not have to come over to your house and blow his nose in your socks. Yikes. That comes to us from Eugene. I don't know, Eugene, that's kind of a bad one. All right, moving on. Jen Pisak says Biden wants to reduce our dependence on foreign oil, not by expanding our own U.S. energy production, but by using green energy. We need to reduce our dependence on foreign oil. The only reason we have any dependence on foreign oil is because you guys shut everything down. You shut down the pipelines. You shut down drilling. You shut down fracking. And now you come out and say we need to reduce our dependence on foreign oil. And then she throws in the little kicker on oil in general. And we need to look at other ways of having energy in our country and others. We've seen over the last week or so a number of European countries are recognizing they need to reduce their own reliance on Russian oil. I'm sure your wind power and sun power is going to work out just great. The U.S. Secret Service claims it can't find 3 years' worth of Hunter Biden's travel records after the agency made extensive inappropriate redactions to docs produced last month. Can't find them. Just lost them. Kind of reminds me of NASA. The most historic event in the history of mankind, landing on the moon, and they lost all the data. Yeah, they just lost it. You can't make this shit up. You could use that for a lot of headlines. Okay, in case of a nuclear explosion, FEMA warns to try to keep a 6-foot social distance and wear a mask for COVID. You can't make this up. In case of a nuclear explosion, FEMA wants to remind you to keep your 6-foot distance and to wear a mask. More than 600 geographic sites across the U.S. will be renamed, replacing a derogatory term for indigenous women used for decades. The Department of the Interior. What the fuck is the Department of the Interior anyway? Anyway, they're getting rid of the word squaw. So the Department of Interior is out there doing the hard work that we all really want and need. The crowded road to Kiev, Victor Davis Hansen. To retain our deterrence abroad, we must tighten our belts at home, pump oil and gas. Hear that, Jen Pisak? Start to balance our budget. What? Junk wokeism as a nihilist indulgence. Yep. And recalibrate our military. Yeah, good article here by Victor Davis Hansen. You should check it out. MI6 chief faces backlash for saying Ukraine war is about LGBT rights. Oh boy. The head of MI6, who includes his preferred pronouns in his Twitter bio, so you know he's an idiot, faced backlash for suggesting that a large part of the war in Ukraine was about LGBT plus rights. Of course. All right, with that nonsense, let's see what Steve Inman has for us today.
All hyped up on Monster energy drinks and full of liquid courage, and booyah, right to the cranium. Liquid courage leads to a nice knockout here tonight. Let's take a quick look at the replay. Once again, Chaz becomes victim of whiskey throttle. In this case, it's energy drink liquid courage throttle, and booyah, hits his cranium, gets sent back in time as he hits his flux capacitor.
Yeah. I can't get enough of those. That's going to do it for this edition of Aimless News. Head on over to aimlessnews.com and bookmark my site. Sign up to my email list if you'd like to be notified when I make new content. Click on the line to donate to the Aimless News if you would care to support us. And thank you very much to all that do. I really appreciate that. And don't forget, all you people, time to do this is before all this stuff crashes. I don't know. You see what's going on right now. Get on over here. Get your free report. Find out how to protect your hard-earned retirement fund with gold and silver. And that way Chuck Norris does not have to stand in your yard waiting for you to come outside. Subscribe to my channel. Like and share this video because you know why the Aimless News must be heard. All right. Until next time, aloha.